This is the Sony surround sound home theater AV receiver, and I've been living with it long enough to form some solid opinions. I picked it up because I wanted Dolby Atmos on a tight budget without paying for a bunch of extras I don't need. From my experience, that's exactly what this unit delivers. Core sound and video performance that punches above its price, with very intentional trade-offs everywhere else. Key features that mattered to me were simple: true Dolby Atmos and DTS in a 5.12 layout, clean 4K HDR pass-through including Dolby Vision, and eARC so I can feed audio back from my TV's streaming apps. It checks those boxes. I run it as a 5.12 system with 2 height channels, and the first time I fired up an Atmos movie, I got that audio above me effect I was hoping for. Rain felt like it fell from the ceiling, helicopters panned overhead, and the room felt bigger than it is. Dialogue stays locked to the screen and easy to understand, and effects are placed with nice precision. In my opinion, this is where the STR-DH790 earns its keep. Setup was fast. I used Sony's DCAC auto-calibration with the included mic, and it completed in under a minute. The result got me sound right away, but I wasn't thrilled with the defaults. The bass was a little boomy, and the subwoofer distance was off by several feet. After a couple of viewings, I went back, measured my speaker distances with a tape measure, set my crossovers to 80 Hz, and trimmed the sub-level down a few dB. That cleaned up the low end and tightened everything up. If you're new to this, crossover just means the point where your speaker hands bass off to the subwoofer. 80 Hz is a good starting point for most home setups. Once I did those tweaks, the sound balanced out beautifully. Crisp dialogue, punchy effects, and convincing height cues. Power-wise, it's plenty for a small to medium room with reasonably sensitive speakers. Marketing says 145 watts per channel, but the real story is closer to about 67 watts into 8 ohms with 2 channels. In actual use, I never felt short on volume or dynamics during movies. It stays clean at the levels I watch, and it doesn't add hiss or noise. I will say it runs warm, so I leave a couple inches of space above it. With a height of about 5.25 inches and a footprint around 17 by 11.75 inches, it fit my media cabinet where bigger receivers wouldn't. Where I felt the budget design is on the back panel. The front left and right speakers get proper binding posts, but the center, surrounds, and heights use spring clips. I use 14-gauge wire for longer runs, and squeezing that into the tiny clips was annoying. It works, but it took patience, and it rules out banana plugs on those channels. It's a cost cut that you can feel during setup. On the bright side, you get dual subwoofer pre-outs, which made adding a second sub easy later on. The interface is bare bones. The on-screen menu is simple, text-based, and a little dated. It's easy enough to find what you need, but it's not slick. Some settings live on the front panel display rather than the TV menu, which can be clumsy. I learned to go straight to the sound effect section to pick Dolby Surround or DTS Neural X when I want to upmix non-Atmos content. These upmixers are helpful. They pull height info out of regular soundtracks and make them feel bigger without sounding fake. The remote works fine, but feels lightweight. It's not something you'll brag about, but it does the job. Video pass-through has been rock solid for me. I've run 4K HDR and Dolby Vision through all 4 HDMI inputs without handshake hiccups. If you're a movie person, you're set. If you're a gamer who wants 4K at 120 Hz or VRR, that's where the limitations show. This receiver tops out at HDMI 2.0B. I connect my console directly to the TV for 120 Hz, then send audio back to the receiver over eARC. That workaround has been reliable, with proper lip sync and full surround formats, but it does mean one extra cable and a bit of setup in your TV's audio settings. It's perfect for movie nights. For cutting-edge gaming features, it's not. Connectivity is minimal by design. There's no Wi-Fi or Ethernet, no AirPlay or Chromecast, and the rear USB port is power only, not for media playback. That hasn't bothered me because my TV and streaming box handle apps. For music, I use Bluetooth. Pairing was quick, it reconnects without drama, and it supports AAC, which sounds better with my phone. Bluetooth standby is a nice touch. My phone can wake the receiver when I start playing music. There's an FM tuner if you want radio, but no AM. There's also no phono input, so I used an external phono preamp for my turntable. From my experience, the sound quality is the reason to pick this up. Movies are punchy and spacious, and even regular 5.1 tracks feel more alive with the upmixers turned on. Music in stereo holds its own, with a clean, straightforward presentation. It's not a fancy, networked centerpiece. It's a focused receiver that does the core audio job well. And the slim height and sub-19-pound weight made it easy to place. There are a couple of practical notes I learned along the way. Make sure your speakers are 6/16 ohms. This receiver isn't rated for 4-ohm loads. Keep the vents clear. It gets warm. Use decent cable management because those spring clips don't love thick wire. And don't be shy about manual tweaks after auto-calibration. A few small changes, distance, crossover, and sub-level can unlock the best performance. It's perfect for someone upgrading from an older non-Atmos system who wants modern surround formats and clean 4K HDR pass-through without paying for streaming features they already get from a TV or external box. If your setup is a streaming stick, a disc player, maybe a console, and you care most about movie sound, you'll be happy. I'd recommend this for small to medium rooms, basic 5.1.2 systems, and anyone who values sound over smart features. In my opinion, the biggest trade-offs are the spring clips, the dated menu, and the lack of HDMI 2.1 gaming features. If you need AirPlay, multi-room audio, a phono stage, or advanced gaming specs, you'll want to look higher up the line. If you just want Atmos on a budget with reliable video and strong core amplification, this hits the mark. In conclusion, the Sony STR-DH790 does exactly what it promises. It gets you into Dolby Atmos and DTS with clear, powerful sound and dependable 4K HDR switching, while leaving out the extras to keep the price down. It's a straightforward, honest receiver that rewards a little manual setup with great results. I'm keeping mine in my living room for movie nights, and I don't feel like I overspent to get the experience I wanted. I'll leave the details about the Sony Surround Sound Home Theater AV receiver in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.